Good evening, everybody. David Anderson here. I will be joined by Ryan Thompson shortly. We are coming to you live from the iRacing GT3 Sprint Series put on by Champion Motorsports, simrace247.com. And excited to be here again this week. This will be round 2 of a 9-race season. Huge field tonight. Looking at the group here that's on the server as they are just wrapping up the practice session, and we've got probably a field of about 50, 55 drivers here tonight, which is just a phenomenal group coming off of the race last week at Spa as well. So pretty excited and excited to be able to bring it to everyone here, and looking forward to it. Should be a fun night, and we should have a good race as well, so it's going to be fun to call it, for sure. And drivers have about 5 minutes left here in qualifying session, in the practice session. So we'll be following them in qualifying here in just a few minutes, and just kind of taking a few scenic views. You can see the beautiful Red Bull Ring track right now while they wrap up their drivers meeting and last minutes of practice, and then we'll be able to kind of get out there with them as they get into qualifying, which should be really fun. Little bit different track this week than what we saw last week at Spa. It takes about half the time to get around, so it's actually in these last couple of minutes of practice. Go ahead and get out here. You can see just a huge amount of cars, a lot of activity, and let's go ahead and see if we can't get out here with some of these guys as they are driving around. Just about all of them are on pit road, it looks like. Everybody coming in, making those last minute adjustments, trying to get ready for the qualifying session. Probably checking qualifying trim, and all those kinds of things. So definitely going to be important to get a good qualifying lap here in this race. So one of the things that I'll call out while we're waiting for them to wrap up and go into qualifying from the practice is you'll notice that the cars that have a 200 number, so anything in the 200s, are the Pro-Am drivers, and those drivers in these races are separated from the pro drivers. So anyone with a number below 200, if you will, so anything from 0 to 199 is going to be a pro driver. And those drivers are having their own race, if you will. And then the drivers with the 200 numbers are the Pro-Am. So, we end up having one master class of GT3 cars with, 8 different manufacturers and car options available to the teams, but at the same time we have a race within a race, or 2 races within that race. We've got the pro drivers racing, and then we have these Pro-Am drivers that are racing each other as well. So should be really entertaining to watch as they've got looks like here about 2 minutes left in their practice session, so they're probably just about wrapping up, or by now they have wrapped up a drivers meeting and are now, just kind of taking that last shakedown lap before they get out here. So we're right along here with our winner from last week, Chris Brunemer. Very strong last week, and also is at the top of the leaderboard in practice right now, too. So looks like he's going to pick up right where he left off in this Lamborghini, and will definitely be the guy to beat tonight, I think, overall. So, but, I'm sure he will have quite a bit of competition. There's some drivers here that I know kind of want to get another shot at him that feel like they missed an opportunity last week. one of those will be Humberto Roca, who you see here. Looks like Humberto is around right now, so hope he's getting all of that out of his system before the race starts. I expect him to escape to the pits, but quite a few drivers that I'm expecting to get up there in the mix for this one tonight. So a little bit chaotic right now. A lot of drivers, they're all taking their last minute preps and changes, so you're seeing them escape back to the pits and kind of load that setup and do all those types of things that they need to do, and then here in a minute we'll be able to get going with qualifying. So we'll hang out a little bit, just kind of enjoy the scenes of the Red Bull Ring, and be back here momentarily to get into the qualifying. And I know my cohort, Ryan Thompson, will let us know when he's back in the booth. He plays a little bit of double duty in these races. So I think I might hear Ryan starting to make his way in here.
Yes, David, there was indeed some duty this evening.
Exactly. We'll spare the broadcasters all the details, but it's definitely been kind of one of those nights, if you will, this last hour, both for us here in the broadcast booth, working on a few typical glitches, as well as the guys on the admin and stewards side trying to get things set up so that we could have a good race tonight. But I think we're in a good place now, from what I understand.
Yeah, I think so. The short version is that we did have a heat race scheduled tonight, but it looked like iRacing wasn't happy with that, so we have gone to a backup plan with a 60-minute race here.
Very good. Well, I think that'll still be a phenomenal job as we see the cars starting to get out here and qualifying. So open qualifying. Is that different, Ryan? I thought that maybe I was asleep at the wheel. I can't remember if we did an open qualifying or a closed qualifying at Spa.
We do typically do private quali.
It looks like tonight we are in an open session, so that might just be another part of the adventure tonight, from what I gather.
It would seem so.
Yeah, it looks like we've got it set up for 10 minutes here. It is an open quali. And so all these drivers out here together, we're riding along with Chris Brunnemer, our winner from last week. I'm expecting him to be strong again. He was at the top of the leaderboard in practice, and so picked up right where he left off, Ryan.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Everybody on an out lap right now, so we don't have anybody who's turned a lap, but we'll... let's just see if we can't get on board here as Chris comes around to make that lap, and we'll see if we can't ride with him while he goes around here and tries to set a lap. Here he comes right now. This is our winner from last week, folks, in the Lambo. Beat a stiff field. Let's watch him climb the hill in here into one. Car off on the right. Beautiful apex. A little bit of bumps there, Ryan.
Yep. Yeah, this is a track that has a certain line through some spots, like a lot of tracks, but it really punishes you if you get a little bit off.
It really does, and you can tell he is trying to use every inch of it right now. It felt like here, going through where he was just there, he did not get the best entry into that third corner. So here he comes in now into turn 4. Another right-hander. You make 3 right-handers in a row here at Red Bull Ring. Looked like he got through that a little bit better. And then you start to make your way back around left, and you have a little bit different track in this Sector 3.
Yeah, as you come into that infield section, you pull a big, lazy U-turn.
Yeah, absolutely. And this Audi in front of him, I don't know if that car is on an outlap or a flyer. It looks like a flyer as well, and I don't think that car is going to hold him up. But Chris will be one of our first drivers to get a time on the board, so I'm interested to see what he can put down. Kind of set the bar. A little bit wide, had to breathe the throttle there. And don't think he was going to be happy with that exit.
Yeah, this presents a lot of unique challenges here with the open quali format with this many drivers.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we may, in fact, see some of the things we wanted to see with the heat racing, which would have been some faster drivers starting ahead of some or behind some slower drivers.
Right, absolutely.
People don't manage to get their laps complete or end up behind somebody slower during quali here.
Yeah, so, another car that I know we followed quite a bit last week is Michael Parker. He's also in a Lambo. You can see him coming onto the screen now in this blue and white and black. Really cool car. Number 23. Number Michael has always worn and driven. I know he's a big Lewis Hamilton fan outside of his sim racing, big Michael Jordan fan, if I remember correctly. And Michael was quite the driver last week as well, Ryan.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like, we talked here momentarily a few minutes ago. Right now on provisional pole, we've got Elliot Budzinski out front and Chris Hudson in P2. Michael Parker, who we're riding along with here now in third place. And not seeing Chris Brunnemer. I'm thinking the reason we're not seeing Chris Brunnemer in this list is because he likely got a speeding, or not a speeding penalty, but an incident is what I'm thinking. So that is probably what's keeping him from the top. But here's our provisional pole sitter right here now in this white Audi. Is Elliot Budzinski, and getting a little, looks like he's going to escape out of that after kind of a little bit of a bumper contact with Pierre Robitaille. Chris Hudson is our second place driver at the moment, and looks like Chris is trying to see if he's on track. Don't think he is at the moment. We'll see if we can kind of go down to the next one. I think we might have Miguel Colon potentially out right now. Yeah, here's Miguel Colon. Miguel was the pole sitter last week at Spa and had just a kind of oh shit moment as he went through a Rouge, Ryan, on that first lap.
Yes, he did.
But something tells me he's going to be a little bit more measured here at the beginning of this one tonight. So Miguel in the 87. Drivers have about 4 minutes left. So this is that part of the session where if anybody's been out there for a flyer, you're going to see them, maybe come back to the pits, get a fresh set of tires, and then want to go out one more time. It's sort of now or never part of that process. And I don't think they were expecting this tonight, were they? As far as a little bit of change of format due to some technical issues at the last minute, and then change of the qualifying format on top of it.
Yeah, absolutely, and a little peek behind the curtain. When creating iRacing sessions, there's always that big raft of settings that we have to set every time. It's hard to save things between races, so it's easy to miss something, especially when we're trying to quickly create a new session to replace one that was there already.
Yeah, and that's just kind of part of it here. We deal with in real motorsports, they deal with things at the track and wrenches that get thrown into the plan, and in iRacing, it's you're not without those same types of things. But I think a good job to the admin team to keep us on schedule tonight, which is I think the big thing. With this many people racing, people got schedules, and I think the fact that you guys were able to get everybody out here generally on time, if anything, we're maybe a few minutes behind schedule, but not horribly, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, I think we're going to finish on time. With the heats, we were going to have an extra 10 minutes, but we're starting about 10 minutes late, so I think we're good.
Yeah, so we should be good. And it looks like our Chris Brunnemer has now made his way up into that second place spot. So here he is on the track again, a little bit of traffic, but looks like he got back out there and got a clean lap in, and you can see him kind of going off here down the hill to see if he can't take that pole position away from Elliot Budzinski.
Looks like it's got some clear track to work with here.
Yeah, it does. It looked like he had a little bit of traffic when we first kind of started following him again here, but now, oh, he's going to come into the pits, so he didn't like whatever that was and decided to just get out of it. Here is our provisional pole sitter here, though, right now, is Elliott, in this white Audi, and get on board with him, and looks to me like he's on a hot lap. You know, with this size field, and it looks like only about, 4 1,000ths of a lead right now, he's probably not comfortable with the lap he's got on the board.
Yep, with just 30 seconds left in qualifying, throw it all on the table at this point.
Absolutely. We're going to stick with him here and kind of watch him come through the line. While we're doing that, a shout out to Claude Belval. He is the provisional pole sitter right now in the Pro-Am category, the first car in the standings with a 200 number in front of it, and backing up his win from last week. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Claude was our winner at Spa, and so it looks like, yeah.
In fact, Claude has moved to the Pro class. It seems his number isn't updating here, but he should be in the Pro class.
Okay.
And I'm just going to dip out for about 30 seconds as I give the driver some additional instructions here.
Sounds good, and I'll make note of that with Claude, and we'll have Ryan back here in a minute. But looks like our pole sitter is going to likely be Elliott Budzinski. Hope I'm getting your name right there, Elliott. Chris Brunemer will start in second. Chris Hudson in the number 43 will start third. One of the things that I am noticing here is that we absolutely have a party of Lamborghinis up front. Everybody chasing that Audi. So we've got an Audi with Elliott on the pole, about 5 Lamborghinis right behind him, and then we've got a BMW and Jose Dolio. Jose in that BMW number 36 was the leader last night, if you will, in practice. So will be interesting to see if these Lambos can back up what they've done in qualifying. And you can see here we're on with Nick Kuhn. There's just a few drivers left out on the track right now. Michael Farrell is one of them. I think he might be on an in-lap. Michael with the Ghost Racing team here. So I think just about everybody has finished their lap, and they're just kind of getting ready now to load the race setup and get going. So we should be in for quite a treat. One note that you may have heard Ryan mention before going off the air for a few minutes here is that our Pro-Am winner from last week, Claude Belval, is actually moved to the Pro class. So we will have to make note of that while he is, with anything we cover tonight. And so what that's going to do is Douglas Hintz, it looks like he will be the pole sitter in the true sense of the word for the Pro-Am class. Doug with a really, really good lap in his Lamborghini as well. And, also noticing that we've got that Ford GT40 of John Taylor Tammy sniffing the top 10 in 12th place. So getting ready to line up here. You can see our bull. And this is going to be pretty fun. Looking forward to it quite a bit tonight. And looks like the drivers should be reading up here momentarily. Here they are on grid. Really, really large field tonight. We've got 49 drivers here, a 1-hour race, 60 minutes. Everybody getting on the grid now. quite a good representation of all the manufacturers here in the race. We've got BMW, Ferrari, Audi, Porsche, Ferrari, Lamborghini, the GT40 Ford. I don't know if we have a McLaren in the race tonight or not. And again, I do not see a Porsche in the top 15. So that's interesting for the second week in a row. And I know we've got some Porsches here in the race. So lots of jockeying with respect to what we're seeing with car choices right now from the guys. All right, we are rolling on our pace lap and ready to get started here.
I can't wait.
Yeah, me too. It's going to be fun. A little bit more fast and furious tonight at this track.
Yeah, this is kind of night and day compared to Spa, isn't it?
Really is. All right, pace car is off, and we are going to get guys picking up the green flag. Look at this big field of cars.
Perfectly side by side.
Absolutely. And they will pick it up. A little peak there on the outside. That's Victor Tanaka, I believe, making a peak. They're going to make the run down here to 1. This is going to be critical for everybody to get through here clean. A little bit of a move on the outside there by Chris Brunnermer, and he's going to try to go for the lead right away here. Might be out of position, though. I'm expecting that you've got to make these 3 right-handers we've talked about. As we see Victor Tanaka flashing the lights already, trying to get in the heads of these guys. But I think Elliott is going to be in the position here. I think he's going to be in the position. Tanaka right on the inside. Looking to try to make it 3 wide, knowing that it's important to get out front here. Miguel Colon, Michael Parker, Chris Hudson in this battle. Very clean start, Ryan.
I think there may have been a little bit of a trouble farther down the field.
Okay, yeah, wouldn't surprise me. Hadn't been able to get off this lead here, though. But now I think we're going to be in a position where potentially they stay side by side like this. This might flop, and we could see Tanaka, who's now moved into that second position, get up around Budzinski. But looks like that he's making that Audi nice and wide and pulling out a little bit of a gap here. Nice wide exit, and they look to be kind of lining up single file here. So our top 10 at the line, coming to the line, we've got Elliott Budzinski, Victor Tanaka, Chris Hudson, Miguel Colon, Chris Brunnermer dropping all the way back to 5th position at the start here. Michael Parker in 6th, Mark Nister 7th, Jose Dolio, Dick Muller, and Claude Belval in the top 10. Those are all pro drivers. And I'm going to go to what's going on at the leader of the AM class. Douglas Hintz is our leader, number 211 here in this mustard yellow Lamborghini. Is the leader in the Pro-Am class, as I saw a car around. And Ryan, I am not sure if Doug was in the race last week. Don't recall talking about him too much, but super qualifying, and he's backing it up here early.
Indeed, yeah, he's running a real strong race so far.
Yeah, and he's got a little bit of spacing. You know, he's got one of yours and I's favorite cars is John Taylor Tammy in this beautiful GT40. He's kind of the meat in the sandwich right now between Doug Hintz and Steve Yanni, who is the second place driver in the Pro-Am category. Again, you will, if you're watching tonight, you'll see Claude Belval with a 256 number, but we were informed that just before the race he elected to move into the Pro category, so we're going to score him and commentate on him as such here tonight. And a little bit of action. Chris Hudson has now moved into that second spot. with the Can-Am Racing team as they we've had quite a bit of shifting up front. Miguel Colon now up to third. Tanaka and Brunnemer have been kind of the losers in this battle early. A couple of these wily CMS veterans are up around him here in second and third now, while Elliot Budzinski just checks out.
This is some fantastic racing so far, and that the GT40 of JT Tammy, that is a wide car to try to get around in the corners.
Yes,
especially
it is.
when the back end steps out a little.
Yes, it is. You and I talked about that quite a bit in practice last night. And here's JT, the top GT40 right now. There are a few of them in the field, as I understand it, and we're going to get right on board here with JT. I know last night you and I loved looking at all these switches and retro in the car, and just loved this thing.
Oh, yeah.
He's starting to put a little bit of pressure on Doug for the position here, but again, they're not racing each other, so hopefully both of them will be aware of that. He's going to make the move here, I think. Doug's, if he's smart, is going to give this to him. That's actually going to put JT just right outside the top 10. JT had a little bit of a hard time last week. At the start of the Spa race was off and then had to kind of drive a recovery race, but he's showing us that this thing can be tamed, I think, Ryan. Ooh,
yeah,
boy, you see him working, see him sawing the wheel there?
Oh, yeah. Just as we say that.
Just love the car. You can see it coming down at us here now. Meanwhile, we go back out front, and Elliott has just decided he's going to run his own race here by himself tonight. It looks like 2.7 second gap on Chris Hudson, and he is threatening early to pull out. He's got a last lap was a 30.6. 30.5 is his best, so definitely looking like he's going to back up his qualifying here. So, Ryan, one of the things you talked about was a little bit of action here early. And it looks like, unfortunately, we've got a car in the pits here that may have been caught up in some of that action. It looks like Tyler.
Okay.
Yeah, he must have been one of the cars in there. I don't know if you got a chance to see or hear what happened, but we've had a few cars here like this one. This Mercedes right now is having to come out of the pits after what looks like a repair. And they do have a fast repair, if I'm not mistaken. That is correct.
Yes, they do. They get one fast repair.
Yeah, so this is one of the cars that looks like it's been on the pits, it's had trouble, and he's back out there.
Great to see him get back out there. Even, losing quite a bit of time, just get back out, do a recovery drive, get all the points you can.
Yeah. And, just kind of making sure, like we like to do, that we kind of pay attention to everybody here tonight. We got a nice little battle here, which is quite a few cars together here, really chasing each other around. We're riding along with Nick Kuhn right now, number 219 in the Lambo. That's this white and black car that you see with accents. Nick was strong in practice last night, running solid, off to a good start in the top 10 in the Pro-Am category. And, another group of them here. You can see that we've got just battles, it looks like, all over the track. Lots of exciting battles. It's just kind of letting our pictures just kind of take us to a little bit of everybody right now, and you can see that everybody is bunched up. Everybody's kind of trying to get those critical positions here early, and they
side by side action as well.
Right, and they're going to have to make a pit stop, I believe, in this race. now that we've gone to 60 minutes.
Yes, they will. The tank of gas will get them to about 45 minutes or so.
Okay.
So that pit window will be opening up probably in not too long here.
Yeah. This is Brett Stevens that we're with here right now. Brett in the BMW, the blue and chrome, beautiful looking BMW. Brett had a really solid race last week, as we've got another car coming out of the pit. So we definitely have had a few cars here have to come in early. I see a few cars that are already really, trying to recover from what was probably a challenging start. There's a little bit of side-by-side action going on up ahead of Brett. We've got Gabriel Albano here in this Porsche, and Gabriel looked good in practice last night. But Ryan, I just am baffled with how he's the top Porsche in the race in 17th position. What's the problem with the Porsches?
That's a good question. Everything that we saw in testing the test races, they looked competitive for the people that enjoyed how they handled.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's just luck of the draw.
Yeah, it may be. It very well may be. I mean, he looks solid out here in this car. He's to give you a comparison, in the Porsche right now, his last lap time was a 31.9, whereas the leaders are, running about a half second faster than that right now. Get back up here, you can see Miguel Colon now has all he can handle from Chris Brunnemer. Chris right behind Miguel. This is the battle for second position. We'll ride with Chris a little bit, see if he can find a way around Miguel. And while they're doing this, unfortunately for them, Elliot Budzinski has checked out now to over a 4.5 second lead. So these guys have gotten to racing behind him, and you know how that goes, Ryan. That's what the leader just loves to see.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you start losing time when you're taking suboptimal lines to attack or defend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so tell us a little bit more, just out of pure curiosity. We had this set up to be kind of a double sprint format tonight, and did we just exceed a maximum amount of drivers to be able to make that work?
We're going to have to do some R&D on that one, David. The testing that we did worked perfectly. We tried multiple different races with this format just between us admins, and everything seemed fine. But as soon as we had around 60 people here, it seemed like we've hit some limit where it was only going to send 30 people ahead to the next race. But we're not sure yet what the problem was. We only had about 10 minutes to troubleshoot.
Right, and then when you do that, it's kind of hard to tell, like to your point, exactly what the issue may have been, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So hopefully we'll be able to figure it out, because I think the format is going to be really fun if we can do it. But if not, I guess we'll have to make some adjustments to our schedule.
Yeah, we very well may have to. And for some reason here, all of a sudden, we have lost a little bit of contact with the cars. Here they are. They're back now. A little bit of a satellite issue of some sort, but we're back on with this battle here with Chris Brunnemer and Miguel Colon, and this one is looks like these guys are just going to have the hammer and tongs out all night.
Oh, definitely. This is great to watch.
This is just phenomenal. They are using every inch of track. Michael Parker right behind them. We've got Victor Tanaka in 5th position. Jose Delio. Talked a little bit about Jose. Let's go to him for a minute. He's kind of the bright neon yellow car here. He's the top BMW right now that's just chasing this train of Lamborghinis. But he was the fastest driver in practice last night. Really looked good in this BMW and representing really, really well. Be interesting to see how this thing holds up over the long haul of this race tonight.
at the moment, it looks like it's on rails.
Yeah, it sure does.
And you could throw a tow rope between these cars right now, and it wouldn't change a thing.
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. Just enjoying watching it. Just enjoying watching them kind of go around here. And, you know, there's races just all over the place. If we go back a little bit deeper in the field, you know, I see some of these drivers that we talked about last week, like Larry Ford, Tim Collier, guys that are kind of just battling all over the place on the track. And certainly very, very interesting.
Yep, that's the thing that we always seem to consistently deliver at CMS. The spread of skill that we have means that we don't sort of have, you know, this big group of aliens or something.
Yeah.
Where you're either in that group or you're out. I've seen that in some other leagues. Whereas here, there's always somewhere you can fit in.
Yeah, there is. And, you know, I have to tell a story here and comment on something. So you see Tim Collier here, 23rd position, number 11, the BMW. And I know this has got to be driving Tim crazy. I'm probably the only one that knows what he's thinking right now. But I want to draw your attention to something. What do you notice about that car in front of him, Ryan? And I'll go ahead and get on that car. That's Audi Reynolds here. Anything about that car look familiar to you, or you want to take a guess, or let me know if you need my help?
Well, I'll be honest, I'm having a little bit of trouble seeing the stream right now, so I'll let you.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and talk. I'll go ahead and talk about it. So we've got Audi Reynolds here, and he's leading Tim Collier, and he's in a Porsche. This is you know, battle for you know, kind of trying to get inside that top 20. And Audi, for whatever reason, this car to me looks like the Rainbow Warrior Jeff Gordon NASCAR scheme. He's got almost the identical colors of that DuPont car that Jeff Gordon made so famous over the years in NASCAR, which you're probably wondering why I'm mentioning this. Well, right behind him is Tim Collier, who I just mentioned, and you can see Tim, and Tim absolutely, I would say, despises Jeff Gordon with a passion. He cannot stand Jeff Gordon. He was a big Dale Earnhardt fan, still is, and here he is. I know it's just driving him crazy having to look at the bumper of this thing thinking, what is this guy out here doing in a Gordon car? So you know Tim wants to get around this thing in the worst of ways. And just ahead of them is Tim's teammate, Drew Lidke. But I find it interesting. You know, this is something that I'd love to hear a little bit of your perspective, Ryan, because I know you're close to the Can-Am team. But Tim in a BMW driving for Can-Am, and Drew, a teammate in a Lamborghini. So, you know, I'm surprised to see that. You would think that they'd all be driving the same car on one team to be able to get that cross-pollination, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. We all did pretty much settle on the Lamborghini, but yeah, Tim wanted the BMW.
He just kind of wanted to get in there in that BMW, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes a car just speaks to you, and that's the one you want to race.
Yeah, you just want to make sure that you can get to that one, yeah. Well, it looks good in this car, and, you know, I think just, you know, shows you the strength of the field. A veteran like Tim, who I know we talked about some last week as well, in, you know, driving a really solid race, you know, running 31, you know, high 31, low 32 second lap times, but, you know, just trying to get in the top 20, right, in this field, so.
Yeah, and it is tough out there.
It sure is, and you know, going back up front here, you know, these guys are just going to be over, you know, all over each other all night up front.
Yeah, nobody is really looking like they want to give an inch either.
Yeah, they're not.
May have been some issue between Tim and Audi.
Oh, there may have. Go back and see if I can pick that up. Yeah, they may be... I'm fiddling around with the cameras and having a hard time getting to it. But it does look like there was an issue there. See if I can't figure out what's going on, Ryan. Yeah, here it is. As you can see, we've got Tim Collier. Let's rewind this and see if we can see what happened. Or I don't know if you're able to catch this while I'm going back, but Tim,
Yep,
not looking good. I'm just going to kind of trace this backwards since we were talking about this battle. And he was certainly around. I figured out what the problem was on my end. It was user error, but you could see was off on the side of the road. And I think there was more that led up to this. Let's see if we can go back a little faster. But Tim, obviously, with huge trouble. And I'm not, we've got so many cars on the track that it's hard to see exactly what happened. So, but yeah, Collier, unfortunately, was out of the race. He's running again now. So he must have, in that time that we were talking, got it going again without too much trouble, because I'm still showing him in 21st place, Ryan.
Yeah, and how did Audi fare in that?
Yeah, I'm going to look here for Audi. He's dropped all the way back to 36th position.
Ouch.
So, yeah, here he is now. I'm getting on him. We'll have to see if we can get a report. His car looks clean.
Might have used the fast repair.
So he could have been in for his fast repair. I'm not showing, though, either of them having been to pit road at this point yet in the race. Actually, and I beg your pardon, he did not drop as much as I thought he did. I'm showing him in 22nd position still. So...
Okay, looks like right behind Drew.
Yeah, so not as much of a drop-off as I thought that we maybe had there. And yes, just right behind, at least as far as the timing goes, right behind Drew Lidke. Although I'm not seeing him in this picture, so we may be waiting on standings to refresh as well.
Right.
As far as positions, if you will. Drew Lidke, though, on the other hand, is now finding himself in a battle, it looks like, with JT Tammy. And JT Tammy has dropped back into 19th position. For a while there, he was up around going for that 20th spot.
That's right. And this battle between Drew and JT is a battle for the ages. They often find themselves door to door in our races, so they have a lot of experience racing side by side.
Yeah, they do. In fact, I'm going to go back to that, and just it looks like, for the moment here, Drew is kind of the chaser in that battle. This is for the 20th position. While things have kind of remained static up front, we've not seen any change up there. We've still got Budzinski, Miguel Colon, Brunnemer, Parker, Dolio, Nister, in that kind of that top group, top 6 in that case. While meanwhile back here, quite a bit of a battle going on with these cars. Looks like Drew is maybe starting to get a little impatient with the GT40, wanting to find his way around it.
Yeah, you see 5 cars lined up in front of you. You've always got that temptation, like let's get her done.
And you can just see inside this Lamborghini how tight the view is if we're looking from his roll bar. As he chases JT around. And I would think that I would think this particular track for this GT40's got to have some advantage for it, because you got some nice long straightaways here.
Yeah, you would think so, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, let's not lose sight of what's going on up front again. Here we are again. It looks like we've got Michael Parker now giving chase to Chris Brunnemer. These guys were our first and second place finishers last week. Miguel Colon looks like he's been able to stretch out a little bit of breathing room in that second position. So if we go up, you can just see Miguel here in the black and the purple car. Jose Dolio chasing this group. But meanwhile ahead, this man is by himself, Ryan. I mean, I don't think we can talk enough about this guy. You know, he started on the pole. He's out front and doesn't look like he's going to go anywhere but there in this race.
He pulled up to the grid, packed his bags, and left.
He sure did. And let's take a lap around the track in this Audi with him. See if we can watch him work his hands a little bit from this particular view we've got. Last night you and I were concerned about the Audi. We didn't know what it was going to have. We were talking about the Audi the same way we were the Porsche. And I think the one or two drivers we watched in practice were having a hard time with the car. But I think Elliott is putting an end to that debate.
Yeah, he's figured it out for sure.
Right. It's certainly not the Beau. It was the Indian in that case. And I think here what we're seeing now is, boy, this is some smooth driving. Look at how smooth his hands are. Smooth inputs. I love watching the wheel here, just where he's just so intentional with it. Seems like a Sunday drive in the park for him, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing a clinic being put on here with how to go slow in, fast out, use every bit of the track, and hit your marks. And that's exactly what he's doing, coming up on lap traffic already here, about 25 minutes into the race.
Yeah, that is a rapid pace, and it didn't look like he was leaving anything behind there. I don't think you could put a business card between him and that curb.
No, you sure can't. So let's go down the field a little bit here and maybe talk about our top 15. So here's the group behind. We talked about Miguel Colon. Kind of try to hit some of these top 15 drivers before they come into the pits. Miguel Colon last week was the pole sitter, had a really tough start to the race, had to drive back up for a recovery drive, and I'd say he's having a much, much, much better day this time. Our winner from last week, Chris Brunnemer, here giving chase to Miguel. Also on a Lambo. We've got a little bit of a Lambo train here in second, third, fourth position. Chris, the winner last week, and he stayed in front of this man, Michael Parker, who's our fourth place driver right now. And just about the time I thought they were going to leave him, Jose Dolio in fifth place has pulled back up to this bunch. He's the high BMW driver we haven't talked about, just a little bit behind them. And here's a Porsche. So we've got another Porsche up there. Porsche kind of getting back up is Mark Nister. So great to see Mark here in the race. This is, I think, his debut in the season tonight.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we saw him last week or not.
I think he might have been out of town. Mark is really a newer member to CMS. He's been with us probably about a year now, but he has really taken to the community and really made a tremendous amount of improvement. We gave him a contract on the CMS endurance team, and he'll be racing with us in the VSCA Sports Car Championship. He's been running some of the majors Team Endurance Series with us, and just continues to show not only pace but developing racecraft, which that's a dangerous combo,
That is for sure.
And so as we continue to go on down a little bit further, seventh place here we've got Dick Muller. Dick with the Dog Bear Racing team in these Ferraris. They had such a strong outing last week. He seems to be kind of the leader of the pack there. He's followed by his teammate Claude Belval, who, again, as we talked about, in the 256 car, but actually driving as a pro driver tonight, which then brings us to our leader in the class for the Pro-Am. So that is Steve Yanni. And, Ryan, I have to admit, I don't know Steve real well. I don't know if you do, but nice drive here by Steve leading the Pro-Am category this evening. Oh, and look
Absolutely.
at that. As he comes up on a slow car.
Oh my.
Let's go around. I'm going to just go backwards here. It looked like just as we said that, the Dog Bear racing car that we had just talked about of Dick Muller had gone around. So luckily, no harm, no foul, but Dick losing a couple of places, and Steve Yanni. And again, I'm sorry that happened right in real time. Don't know if you know anything about Steve, or if he's someone we're still getting to know.
Yeah, he's newer with us, but he's again just plugged himself right into the community and has been active in our discussions and races. So it's great to have him here.
Absolutely, and right behind him, this is where we kind of have this battle. Just right on his bumper in another Audi is Tyler Pinheiro. And I want to say Tyler was really, really fast last week at Spa. And keep me honest on this, Ryan, but I think he was the driver that, along with Miguel Colon, had kind of a disaster right at the start of the race, and was super disappointed in the post-race Discord that happened to him.
Yeah, that was a tough start for those.
Yeah. So you can see the gap here between he and Steve. So this is a battle that might shape up. And I'm kind of looking at lap times. It looks like of these two cars here right now that Tyler is a little bit quicker. So we're going to see if we get a battle start to develop here. And then that 10th position car is Brett Stevens. So this is a guy that's just always there. He's always there, always up in the top front. And as I say that, it looks like we've got pit stops happening. Our leader is on pit road, Ryan, so let's take a look here at this stop, see what happens. He's coming into the pits now, and we'll watch Elliott take service. So hopefully this will be a nice, smooth stop for him.
Yep.
He's the first one in. It looks like Miguel Colon has inherited the lead.
And David, did you know dynos are sick?
Absolutely, apparently so. And he's got some dynos living on this white car. So I'd like to know a little bit more about that story. Maybe we'll get the privilege of talking to him. Looked like a nice, smooth pit stop there.
It did.
And just as we say that, our leader in the Pro-Am category, Steve Yanni, is on pit road as well. So let's just follow Steve's pit stop. He's in as well. I'm assuming what are your thoughts here? You think these guys are taking tires?
I would think most of them won't, but I could be wrong here. I haven't myself done a whole bunch of testing at Red Bull Ring.
Yeah, probably just fuel. Even though the tires are free, but you may have started with a little bit different fuel profile, I'm thinking.
Yeah, we did 85% again. We may see some people taking lefts.
Yeah. And then it'll be interesting to see how those balance. Definitely will be interesting to see how those kind of balance out. Once if you do take the lefts, if you've got a little bit of a handling issue as you come out, and then have to to get equalized back up to temperature.
Yep. And see if we have any chase down situations at the end of the race.
Yeah. According to the iRacing camera director, this is our most exciting battle on the track right now, and it is again featuring Gabriel Albano. This is for the 10th position overall. Some of these guys have moved up a little bit as we're seeing some pit stops now start to happen. But Albano and Douglas Hintz, this is a battle for position within that top 5 in the Pro-Am category, and you can see some of the cars behind, like Jose Dolio coming out behind these cars after coming in for service. So we definitely have guys on several different strategies, it looks like. Some guys haven't come in. Some guys, kind of tried the undercut move. So it'll be interesting to see how all this all plays out.
Definitely. There's going to be some moving and shaking here with the pit stops.
Yeah. Ryan, another thing that's jumping out to me here is Humberto Roca. He drove in the top 3 all last week, and something has obviously happened to this driver as riding along with him now in this blue and yellow fluorescent Lamborghini. He's riding around in 29th position right now, or 35th position, a lap down, so it must have had some sort of a problem at the beginning of the race.
Yeah, you've got me on that one. I'm not sure what might have happened to him.
Yeah, I'll see if I can't...
He looks like he didn't qualify.
Aha.
So he might be just fighting from the back.
Yeah, he may have. And I'm going to take a quick look here. We've got a nifty session events thing. And I'll see if I can see if we can get a little bit more of the story of what may have happened to him in the race. Kind of looking through the log to see if they're seeing anything with him that may have happened. His car looks clean, but yeah, it's saying that he may have crashed. And yeah, I'm seeing where it is here. I tried to go back to it.
All right.
But unable to kind of get I think the camera. Here it is right here. This is actually maybe what happened. Or he blinked out or something, so
Okay.
could have been a technical issue maybe.
I do show him up 11 spots from his grid position.
Yeah, and he's back here with... see if I can't get back on him. And everyone's getting to see my amateurish with the cameras. I try to get live here, and I'm gonna have to learn a little bit more how to kind of get live with one click. And not outkick my coverage as far as my ability goes in this thing. But there's a little bit more to that story. I had kind of one set of camera controls I was using, and then unfortunately wasn't able to keep using them for tonight, and had to go to something else. But that's kind of put me now where I'm trying to catch up in the race here. So apologize for the technical little pause here while I get caught back up, folks, to the front of the race.
We've had a few gremlins tonight in the works.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's a button that will allow me to go straight there, but if there is, I just don't see it. So I may see if I can't make a shortcut here. And I did exactly that. I went the way I know would work, which was quickly into iRacing, as opposed to the camera control, and that way I could just get myself back where I needed to be. But we're now back, back with Miguel Colon, who has taken over the lead. I don't believe Miguel has been on pit road yet, so this is a driver. As we see another Audi off on the right. Like that was a solo spin, but Miguel has assumed that lead when we saw the short pit out of Elliott. So yes. Elliott's dropped back quite a bit, and I think that could be a lot of what we're seeing, where some of these drivers just decided to maybe split this thing in two, and some of these other guys are going to drive the race until they run it out of fuel, and then come in and maybe take a splash and go at the end.
Yeah, it's looking like the top 7 here at least have not come in yet.
Right. And, because of that, here's a driver that I know you and I were keenly interested in how he was going to do tonight. That is Liam Park. And, yes. We predicted it. We predicted he would have a better race, and it looks like he's doing exactly that. He's moved himself in a position to have a better showing, and hopefully we're going to see him get inside the top 20 before this thing's all said and done. Yeah,
he's looking real good.
Yeah, and in quite a bit of a battle here with Drew Lidke. So these are teammates that are going around the track together here right now.
Yep, and Drew still out, hasn't done his pit stop yet. So I wouldn't be surprised if Liam's going to let him by here.
Yeah. It looks like Liam has maybe come in, done his stop. Yeah, Liam was in on lap 23. Drew has not come in yet, and which is the same with looks like our top 6 have not come in yet. So definitely quite a bit of different strategy here.
Yeah, Drew maybe just taking the free tow around the track for now.
Yeah, he very well may be. And since I'm learning and still a novice on some of the camera stuff, I don't want to go back and put myself in a situation where I kind of lose the live action again. But one of the things I did notice, Ryan, is that a couple of our early leaders, Chris Hudson and Victor Tanaka, appear to be out of the race with retirements.
Oh, that's really unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm showing them as out and not on the server at this point in time. So we'll have to see if we can figure out what happened there as we ride along with Brett Stevens. Brett still has not come in, and because of that, he's up to the 6th position overall. But, you know, we don't have to go back very far. It looks to me, Ryan, if I'm looking at this correctly, I want to kind of get you to help me validate this, but we're on with Brett Stevens right now, okay? So he's 6th overall. He has not pitted, but right behind him in 7th is Jose Dolio, who has been on the pits, and I think that Jose Dolio has overtaken Elliot Budzinski for the lead because he's pulled the undercut mood. I believe this is our true leader right now. Is Jose Dolio with Elliot Budzinski, as you can see right here behind him, 2 cars back on the track. So there goes in the foreground Jose, and then here is Budzinski, who's giving chase. You can see 2 cars ahead, that neon green BMW. I think when this all shakes out, that's going to be our leader. Yep,
Elliot's chasing Douglas Heinz, who has not pitted yet, but yeah, you're right. Ahead of him is Jose. They both pitted about a lap apart.
Right.
And Jose came out in front.
Right, and you know, that's interesting because at the time that happened, we know that we had a situation where Budzinski was probably about 10 seconds ahead of Dolio on the track, but that could be like what you alluded to earlier. I'm wondering if maybe that BMW is getting a little bit more handling, a little bit better tire life, and maybe he took 2 tires as opposed. That's the only thing I can think of, unless there was an error on Budzinski's crew that had him lose a ton of time, right?
Yeah, I wish we could go back and have a look at what happened there, but yeah, either one of those are definitely possible.
Yeah. And I'm confident I'll be able to get us there once I can spend a little bit more time where I can go back to some point-in-time things and bookmark some things. There's a lot of, kind of a blessing and a curse this week as we prepared for kind of race 2 of the broadcast. I got some upgrades in software, but it's a little bit overwhelming, and I'm somewhat of a novice with it right now. But I think you and I will continue to get better where we can go back and kind of get a little bit more concrete answers around some of these things happening.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I think we're doing pretty well so far, and you're doing a great job on the camera.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. So yeah, if I kind of look at this and tell this story, and I'll come back out here and we can look at the cars going around the track. So right now, this being Elliot Budzinski, who was our leader before the pit stop started, Dolio ahead of him now, as you can see, going around Pierre Robitaille on the front stretch. I believe this could be our leader, whereas though I think we're starting to see some more of the others going to be coming in here soon. But the third one in this group is Michael Parker. And Michael Parker has also been on the pits and must have taken tires because there are about 4 or 5 cars between him and Budzinski now. So I think we're seeing a whole bunch of different strategies.
Yeah. And to be fair, we did have to throw the drivers a curveball, so they didn't have a chance to really test their pit strategy for this week. So they're just relying on their testing and knowledge from the previous races.
Right. You know, we've talked a lot about the top 15. Maybe let's take a quick look while we're waiting on some of the leaders to come in at maybe 16 through 20. We'll start with Mark Johnson. Mark Johnson currently in that 16th position. So Mark had a phenomenal race last week. Another driver on the Longhorn team with Brett Stevens. Brett has been kind of the top driver so far for this team, but Mark was, if you remember, didn't qualify. We talked to him post-race last week. Didn't qualify and drove his way up to like 30-place improvement, if I'm not mistaken. And it looks like he's on a similar drive this week, Ryan.
Yeah, he drove the lug nuts off that car last week, and this week he's wound up in a similar position, but didn't have to work his way up through the field to get there.
Yeah, and then we've talked a few times about Audie Reynolds in the Jeff Gordon Special in the Porsche here. Audie having a solid race in 16th position, so doing quite well. And as we're starting to see a few more cars on pit road, I see Mark Nister now, one of the leaders, is on pit road. So we're going to see. In fact, let's go there and see if we can see where Mark Nister in this battle comes out with the leaders. He was one of those top guys, and I want to get on him as he is on an outlap, and we're going to see where he settles in. He came in 3rd position, and we're going to see where he settles in with the leaders. So like Dolio and Budzinski and the guys who pitted early. Mark coming in another, what would you say, 7, 8, 10 laps even later.
Yeah, 8 laps later than Jose.
Yeah, so this will be interesting. Let's see kind of where he shakes out once he gets back around to the start-finish line here. Showing him in 11th position in real time. And we'll see if that kind of holds true as he takes the line here. Yeah, 10th position, so 10th, 11th position. So he got in there about 8, like you said, about 8 laps after Jose, and that slotted him back into the 11th position. So it definitely looks like Dolio is going to be the victor so far. We'll have to see when Miguel Colon and Chris Brunnemer come in, where they end up coming out. But back to where we were, kind of going through 16 through 20. Here's another driver that had a phenomenal race last week, and that is Kevin Ayers. Kevin Ayers having another good run this week. This is a driver that is bringing his A game. This is a driver who traditionally has run in the Pro-Am category. He's made the jump over to Pro. Last week he had a solid top 10 finish, and Ryan, looks like he could be contending for another one. Kevin Ayers has not been on pit road yet. 16th, 17th position right now. So another solid race for him. Wild paint scheme on this car.
I love it. Yeah, it looks it's really unique. It stands out when you're seeing all the cars go by. And yeah, Kevin has really seemed to have that car dialed in. It's looking really good out there, and very consistent finisher. He's been consistent in practice as well.
He has, and driving for what we call the Ghosts. Just kind of a great group of guys that love racing together, and as I see that, it looks like Chris Brunnemer maybe has come into the pits, and because he's dropped. No, still in second place here. So my bad. I was looking at a relative there, but still waiting on this car. Chris Brunnemer, Miguel Colon. We're waiting on these cars to come into the pits. They have not yet. And so it's going to be very interesting to see how that shakes out. But Again, if we go back down, kind of in that range of, kind of just inside and outside the top 20, there's a lot of movement happening around there right now. Because we're seeing so many cars kind of change positions with the pit stops. But Kevin Ayers, nice to see him continuing to have a strong race.
Definitely, you see some flashing.
Yeah, a little bit of flashing, wanting to get around there. Miguel wanting to get around. Looks like that might be Drew Lidke that he was wanting to get around there. And I'm taking a look at pit lane here right now at the moment, and it's quiet. So we don't have anybody in at the moment. This is our leader. And it'll, I think that what we're setting up here to see is that splash and go.
It's looking like it.
Yeah. But as I round out the top 20, so this, bringing us back down, we've got Audie Reynolds in the top 15, Drew Lidke, who we talked about in that 25th position. Liam Park is kind of holding on around in there. Quite a bit of excitement.
There hasn't been a dull minute all night.
No, there hasn't.
And we've talked about the fuel limits on these cars at 85%. That should put people at about 45 minutes. We're at over 50 minutes right now, so some of these guys are going to be running on fumes by now.
Right, absolutely. And I think that's why we ought to probably kind of see what Miguel Colon's going to do here, because they're in the pits behind him now. So, in fact, if I go, it looks like these are some of the cars that he's been racing with. Like, here's Chris Brunnemer. I'm showing that he's already pitted. Dolio's already pitted. Colon is one of the only cars not having pitted, so I've got to think he's coming in. Wouldn't you think this Lamborghini is thirsty?
It's got to be. I don't know if he's been really fuel saving out there. He's managed to keep the pace up in any case.
Yeah, he has. His last lap, in fact, was a 30.5.
Wow.
And 30.3 was his best. So, I mean, he is still hauling the mail here. And here he comes to pit road. So let's just kind of see what he can do. This is going to be a telling moment. So I think we're going to see kind of what he does, coming in nice and hot to the pits. Right down on the limiter. Miguel runs for the Sim Racing PR team. Group of just terrific drivers. That are a big part of the Latin American community here within CMS. Some of the guys, here in the States, some of the guys in South America. And look, he came in just for a splash, Ryan.
Yep, right back out.
Right back out.
This positions him when it all shakes out. It's going to be a quick sprint to the line, too.
Right, because we're coming up, now that I think, and here comes Jose Dolio in the picture. So you can see it looks like Miguel, this is going to work out in his favor. I believe this is going to be our leader, even after the pit stops.
Incredible.
So the guy who waited until lap 35, so that's a full 13 laps later than what Dolio came in at, and even longer than Budzinski. And Budzinski was the big loser here. I don't know if this, like, that Audi just needed a little bit of extra love and care on pit road, but boy, he dropped from what was a 7-8 second lead down to 4th place in the standings.
Yeah, that's got to be weighing on his mind a little bit right now. Wonder what happened there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're going to want to stay with this, but before we do, I can't help but go to this battle right here. These are two guys in sim racing that I think might be best friends. It's Larry Ford and Mike Tyler. They're teammates, and they are chasing each other around the track right now for position, and they get on Discord together, kind of like you and I are right now doing the broadcast, but I know they are smack-talking one another like nobody's business at the moment. Here's Mike. He's all over Larry. So this is the thing I love that we've talked about. You know, these guys are running around in 34th place. They're best of friends, but man, you'd think they were racing for the win here. I love to see it.
Oh yeah, that's all that matters to me when I'm racing is whoever's right in front of me and right behind me.
Yeah, give me somebody fun to race with. And there's some guys back here in this battle. You know, I'm just kind of looking at the standings around him. You know, we ride along with Mike Tyler as he's trying to, you know, kind of break what Larry sees behind him and get around him. But you know, Peter Hebron's back here in this battle. Looks like Zach Sternhagen, Pierre Robitaille. So there's some solid racers back here for these positions.
Oh, and you know they're just loving it out there too.
Yeah, wonder if Mike tries to make the move. Gonna require him to send it. If he does. Love watching it. But in fairness, I think let's get back to here is our leader in the Pro-Am class. As it's all shaken out, we are back to right where he started, Douglas Hintz. And Doug, I promise, or apologize if I'm not getting the pronunciation of your last name right. Douglas H. will say. I don't know if it's Heinz, or it's one of those names that can be pronounced about 3 or 4 different ways. But Doug was kind of our rightful leader in Pro-Am at the beginning, and looks like it's shaken out. But he might just have this thing getting ready to bring home a victory in this interesting-looking Lamborghini.
Yeah, see where... Yeah, it looks like he's got the edge over Brett.
Yeah, here's Brett in the Ferrari, the Mobil 1 Ferrari. So, I mean, it's, you know, certainly not over. But these are our top 2 in Pro-Am class. And then a little bit further back, you can see Stephen Knight, driver who we haven't talked about yet, but was doing a lot of practice last night for the Ghost team. Stephen in 3rd on the podium right now in the Pro-Am category. Was not able to make last week's race, and he was just sick over it. He really, really wanted to be here. So it's good to see Stephen out here. It's good to see him having a good race, and he's given chase to Mark Johnson. So to be up there racing with Mark, one of the pro drivers, Stephen's got to feel good about this run.
Oh yeah, it's a really good showing.
Yeah.
Finishing ahead of a lot of the pro drivers as well.
Absolutely, and here's our battle. This is where we might end up kind of having to stay here in the last few minutes of this race, but it has tightened up quite a bit. Jose Dolio, who we're riding along with here now, and we'll get on his cockpit. You will see, folks, that just ahead of him is Miguel Colon. So, in fact, the last time around the track, Dolio in the BMW ran a 29.9 compared to a 30.2 for Miguel. So this BMW is flying right now. We might have a race on our hands here before this thing's over if he continues to turn those kind of lap times.
Have we seen the white flag yet?
I don't believe we have.
We'll be coming right up on it, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm showing 57:39 out of an hour. So what do you think? Maybe not this time, but next time by, perhaps?
Oh, well, I'll trust your number. My iRacing client's showing we're over an hour already.
Yeah, with the countdown and everything, it may be that we are, but, you know, in kind of the formation lap. But yeah. If I've got it correctly, I think we're right here at the line. We've got 2 laps to go is kind of what I'm thinking.
Okay.
don't know if he's going to have, it's about a 1.2 second gap right now, so I don't know if he'll have enough time to catch him. But it's going to be close.
Yeah, it'll probably take a mistake.
Yeah, as we see Tim Collier off the pace. I don't know if Tim's got a trouble here or if he's just letting them go. Knowing Tim, he might just be letting them go. He doesn't want to get in this battle. Yeah, it looks like Tim's going to pick up the pace behind him. That's that's what I love about Tim. Such great situational awareness.
Oh, definitely.
You don't want to be that guy in the way of these guys when you don't need to be, right? So he just kind of found a safe place to get out of their way, let them go by. Chris Brunnemer is the third place car. He's a little further behind, about 6 seconds. So this is really a two-car race here to the finish. And last time by, it looked like Miguel Colon actually got back up on his saddle and was a little bit faster. And I think he will see the white flag this time by. Yeah, white flag is out, Ryan. So Colon doing what we know he set out to do, which was correct that mistake. I know he was embarrassed by that, and he's going to be right back in this thing if he can pull off this victory, and it looks like he's gone a long way towards doing that as we come to the last lap.
Oh, he put on a clinic, running just a little bit behind towards the pit stop, and then that undercut in the pits was beautiful.
Absolutely. I think he nailed it all tonight. Qualifying up front, stayed in touch with the guys who, kind of sprinted out ahead, and then got a little bit better fuel mileage. Obviously took well enough care of his tires, and I think that's gonna turn into a victory here. So we'll kind of stick with him as he comes around. He's gonna have it's gonna be a margin that's pretty tight, less than a second to Jose Dolio in second. But I think this will be our winner here in round 2 at Red Bull Ring, as he's gonna come around the final corner or set of corners and passing the pit road. He'll make this final apex, and then we will see the Sim Racing PR machine of Miguel Colon take the victory tonight. Checkered flag is in the air. Jose Dolio in second, and I'm going to go right to this battle here. It looks like Nick Kuhn all of a sudden is our leader in Pro-Am, so over Steve Yanni. And so, I don't know that I've got this right. I may not. Doug Hintz is still our leader in Pro-Am. Yeah, so here we go. Apologies for that. Here comes Douglas. He is the leader in Pro-Am. Coming around, a little bit of an error on my part, and in 10th place overall. He's going to come around the last corner, and he will hold off Brett Cullen with that GT40 of JT Tammy in between the two of them, a Pro Class driver. But here's our winner, Douglas, taking the victory in Pro-Am class tonight. What a great drive by this guy. Just phenomenal. Well, Ryan, do you think, and it looks like, I figured this out now, it looks like maybe that's a Cyberpunk 2077 car. We'll have to see if we can get Doug to come by for an interview, and do we maybe want to ping some of the podiums, top couple guys, and see if they want to join you and I for a little conversation?
We sure can. Stand by.
Yeah, and while you're doing that, I'll kind of run down the field and recap things here a little bit before we get into some of the post-race conversation with the guys here. So, what a phenomenal race. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody for watching us tonight. We were battling some gremlins, to be honest, but I think we fought through it. A lot of it you don't maybe see, but we were fighting some camera controls, and but we tried to kind of bring it to you the best we could. I think we'll continue to be better and better next week, and it was just kind of one of those nights. The admins had to do a little bit of kind of last-minute shuffling on things, and but I think we all kind of as a community came together and got through it well. So let me do a quick rundown here of what I see unofficially. Miguel Colon winning the race in the pro category. Phenomenal drive from Miguel. Made up for his tough race last week at Spa. We're going to see him now do a little bit of donut here on the front stretch maybe. and be excited. But we also are just so proud of his effort there. Hopefully, we'll get an opportunity to talk to Miguel. Jose Dolio in second position in the Pro-Am category. And then we saw Elliot Budzinski bring home third, and our winner from last week, Chris Brunnemer, in fourth position. Michael Parker rounding out the top five in the pro category. If we go down a little bit further in pro, we had Mark Nister in sixth position, Brett Stevens in seventh position, I believe. James Gong, who we did not get much opportunity to talk about James tonight, but obviously was kind of the quiet guy who had a phenomenal race with an eighth place finish. Then JT Tammy in ninth place in the ninth, I believe ninth, maybe 10th place in the pro category to round us out there. In the pro-am category, our winner, and that's where I got a little confused. It was Claude Belval, who actually has a 200 number, but as we mentioned, Claude made the decision to electively go from the pro-am to the pro category, and we did not have his number changed in time, so he actually was the seventh place finisher in the standings, and it was JT Tammy who was brought home 10th position in pro category. So as we turn our attention over to the pro-am category, Douglas H. with just a phenomenal run. He started up front and he finished up front and he ran up front pretty much all night. And it took me a while to figure it out, but I think at the end I learned that Douglas was in the what looked to be the Cyberpunk 2077 car. And shout out to him and again Miguel Colon for bringing the Lamborghinis home in first place tonight. So if we go down and talk about the others in the Pro-Am category, we had Brett Cullen ended up second place on the podium in his Ferrari. A really solid run by him. Stephen Knight for the Ghost team in his Lamborghini, third place. Just a terrific run by Stephen. We had the opportunity to ride with him and talk to him or talk about him a little bit tonight. Shane Norton looks like he was in fourth position in Pro-Am. Didn't get much of an opportunity to talk about Shane. Another quiet race, but sometimes those are the best races. So I know Shane has got to be feeling good about that finish, and congrats, Shane, on a great run. Stephen Yanni was behind Shane in fifth position. And then we go back a little bit further where we had Nick Kuhn, Liam Park, who were really excited to see Liam have a good recovery run. Rafael Sosa, Juan Martinez, those were kind of our contenders in the Pro-Am category. So ended up with a few cars out of the race. I'll comment on that now. Unfortunately, it looks like I was right in that Victor Tanaka, Chris Hudson had DNFs. We weren't able to pick up on exactly what happened with them. But they were out of the race. Some of the early leaders to call out. Humberto Roca had a difficult finish. Looks like Tim Collier had some trouble. We saw him in a battle with Audie Reynolds. Both of those cars looked to have a little bit of damage, and Tim was 3 laps down. So there were definitely some cars that had a reverse turn of fortune. So, all right, well, we will see. I'm going to check in with Ryan and see if we've got anybody that wants to come over and chit-chat with us.
It doesn't look like there's anybody on deck at the moment, but I did send out a message, so we'll see if anybody wants to come.
Yeah, and I can, I think we have the ability to invite some guys in here, if I'm not mistaken. So,
we can just, unilaterally drag them over, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to just do a little of that. Let's bring in a couple of our Pro-Am drivers to start here. I'm going to invite Doug Hintz and Brett Cullen here and see if they'll join us in here. And it looks like Doug has. Doug, can you hear us? We'll give him a minute to get his mic situated, and maybe we'll be joined by Brett Cullen as well. Doug or Brett, are either of you able to hear us? We see you muted at the moment.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes, we do. I think that's Doug, if I'm not mistaken.
Awesome. Yep, that's me.
Doug, you're on here with Ryan and David. We were fortunate enough to watch you go around the track tonight, awfully fast, and I think I figured it out at the last minute. You'll have to tell me if I was right or wrong. Was that a Cyberpunk 2077?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I'm not much of painting my own liveries, so I just grabbed something off Trading Paints there real quick. But yeah, I thought it looked nice, the yellow. So, but thanks, you guys. I was watching some of the broadcast, the practice yesterday and stuff. You guys are doing an awesome job. It makes it so nice and professional. It's really cool. And yeah, that was a good race. I didn't expect to be in first, and I didn't expect to win. I didn't think I had that kind of pace. I think I was able to avoid some incidents, which made it pretty good. So
Yeah, well, you did, Doug. You certainly did have the pace. You ran a 30.9 in the race, which was only about a half second off the pro leader's fastest lap. And you're right. Ryan and I both watched you just kind of nice and steady. Had an uneventful pit stop, and you know Ryan, I know that's how I saw it. What were your observations of Doug out there on the track tonight?
Yeah, Doug, it just looked like you played your cards right. Ran a good steady pace before the pit stops, and had a quick stop and came out on top.
yeah, that was a blast. I didn't think. I think it was who was it? I was trying to undercut somebody in the pits. Oh, Gabriel Albano. I think he was all over me. He looked like he pitted early, and then I came out and I saw him just right behind me, and I gotta watch the replay a little bit. We were going into that what's the sharp? Is it turn 3, the real sharp one? And he got into it with the guy that he was battling with behind me, but I didn't look like there was any contact. I didn't get any X's or anything on that, but that was unlucky for him because I thought we were gonna be battling until the end there. But great race. I mean, this is fantastic. Thanks for doing what you guys are doing.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, anyone in particular you'd like to thank or give a shout out to, Doug, while you're here? And
Yeah, I would. My buddy, other Doug, who races, Doug Ritter. He and I, he got me into this. So I went over to his house. I saw his rig, and I was hooked. I was like, man, I got to get one of these for myself. So I've slowly been building my own, and yeah, he's a good friend of mine. And I think he was in here. I didn't get a chance to see what he came in, but or how he did. But yeah,
yeah, and we can we might be able to tell you that before you. Yeah, he finished in 23rd position overall, so a solid run. I think maybe just outside of the top 10 in the Pro-Am category. And I don't have it right in front of me right now, but I really hope we're going to see the two of you back with IRTES, and I'm wondering if you've signed up yet.
no, we have not. We're planning on it. It was just a matter of choosing the right car. We wanted to go GT3 this time around instead of the LMPs. And before that last BOP, we couldn't choose a car, but I think we found one with the Lamborghini here. So
I
we might
think you
just do that.
did. I think you did. Well, go ahead. We're down to about 4 or 5 signups left in GT3 before we start a waiting list, and I certainly don't want to have you guys waiting. So get in there and get that sign up in, and we can't wait to see you in the IRTES. And you're going to be a force to be reckoned with here in the Wednesday night series as well.
Oh, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. This is a blast, absolute blast, and thanks for doing what you guys do.
You're welcome.
So-
Well, congratulations tonight, and we look forward to maybe talking to you again.
Hey, thanks a lot. Thanks again.
Thanks.
Great
Thanks
to
for coming
you
up,
guys.
Doug.
Yep. Thanks.
All right, let's see if we can maybe get Miguel Colon in here, our overall winner, and see if he'd like to talk to us. Miguel, are you able to hear us?
Yes, 10-4. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. We sure do. Ryan, kick it off with Miguel. We were so impressed with what we saw here tonight.
Wow, I mean, where to start but the start? You you finished well, and it looked to me like you just drove a really clinically clean race. That undercut in the pits was amazing. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you very much. At the with the change from hit race to like the 60 minutes, I didn't adjust my tune-up, so I just basically add more fuel. And basically, at the beginning, my car was like too tight, like it was kind of pushing too much for the balance of the car. Once the fuel start going lower, like it start coming toward the pace that I had it for the original setup. When I saw Elliot going in, I was like, that's kind of too early for him to go in. And then I started watching my pace, looking at his lap times, and like, okay, maybe I have a chance over here. And when I went to the pit stop, it was just 4 gallons. I needed to put almost 5. And I was like, I'm not putting tire. I'm just gonna fill 5 gallons and just send it to the end.
Awesome. So
It
you
worked out.
were running. You said you're running quick laps towards the end of your stint. So yeah, I can see you not wanting to take tires. Just leave it as is, eh?
Yeah, on the practice yesterday, I noticed that with this spring, the heat setup that I put on, with the last 7-8 gallons, like the car started rotating way better, and I could push it harder through the S's and those previous corners, which normally a lot of people get out of shape. But I was able to make it stick into those areas. So I feel confident with the car to just push it through that way, but easy, not too hard, not heavy and everything. It worked out.
Well, you made it look easy, I think is what happened.
I was like on practice yesterday. I did like maybe 70 off track, so I was pushing yesterday hard. And today I was just trying to save some of those for the end. And then I saw Jose was having a good pace at the end. I was like, oh, I may have to start pushing because if it get the draft, like those Beamer in the draft are fast. The Lambo is kind of dead at the top end speed. So uh, he made me work over there at the end.
Right. Well, yeah, it was looking really good, Miguel.
Yeah, he sure did. And Miguel, what a just tremendous drive tonight. We talked about it multiple times from beginning to end, solid qualifying. You ended up, we all had a little bit of kind of unexpected things tonight. We had some technical gremlins, trying to get the race. It ended up just a few things that we all had to overcome. And you did a really good job staying calm, made a great pit stop. Just a phenomenal bounce back from last week, and you're right back in the conversation. And that's what you needed tonight to get right back into the points chase.
Yeah, definitely these good results today. Basically, it's not erase what happened last race, but also give us some boost, coming for the next races. So that's awesome. So.
Yeah, absolutely, and we are excited to have you. We're getting closer and closer to the iRacing Team Endurance Series there. I know you've got a team signed up, and hopefully you'll be back to defend your Porsche Cup title, and just super excited to have you here in the Wednesday Series. Congrats again. We enjoyed talking to you tonight.
Thank you guys. I think some of my teammates also, they're going to run the Porsche Cup also with me. So we're probably going to bring a couple of good people over there for racing. So it's going to be a good race, that series.
Perfect. Well, we look forward to having you all, and glad you're a part of CMS. Have a good evening, and congrats again. Go enjoy the win.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
You bet. All right, let's see if we can bring in Mark Nister here. I've just invited him in, and then I've also got JT Tammy that hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to as well. Mark, are you able to hear us?
Yeah. Hey, David. Hey, Ryan. How's it going?
Good, Mark.
Yeah.
How are you?
Good. Pretty happy about my finish. I kind of killed the tires. I was down into the low teens by the end of it, but made it through. I should have taken tires in hindsight.
Yeah, I tell you, and we were wondering, it looked like there was a lot of different pit strategies tonight, and some guys took tires, some didn't. Looks like, from what we're hearing from you, you did not take tires, and you had just enough to kind of keep it in there. Sixth place finish in just a really strong group of drivers. So I know you had to feel just great about the drive tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't have quite enough to battle Michael Parker at the end, but I was pretty happy with that in the end. I actually raced here a few weeks ago in another league, and everybody didn't take tires in that league, but I think it was the track difference today that kind of made the difference. I think it was like a 100-degree track or something like that, and that obviously makes a huge difference on tire wear.
Yeah, it sure does, right? And you really kind of played things to your advantage. And I know one of the things that you had to be thinking, I know I was thinking it, was you were up there battling with a couple of the guys you kind of look up to, Michael Parker, Brett Stevens. These are guys I know that are teammates of yours and mine. We run in some endurance races together, and you were up there kind of holding your own with them. So Has to make you feel going into this weekend's race where you're going to be a big part of CMS in the VSCA Roar Before the 24, and what a confidence boost going into that this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. I mean, I think last year I joined CMS in the GT4 league, and I was miles off Michael Parker, Brett Stevens, JT Tammy, and to kind of be racing between them a year later is definitely a big confidence boost for sure. I'm really happy with the progress I've made in the past few months.
You have, and we're really excited to have you here. Just a great member. You've really been a great representative of our team and with the endurance team, and just so happy to see you have success tonight. So look forward to having more conversations with you, Mark, as Ryan and I get the privilege of bringing these broadcasts.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully, looking forward to more interviews.
Yeah, for sure. Well, have a good night. And Ryan, you're going to love this. I'm going to bring in JT Tammy and let you see if we can get him and you talking about this GT40 and and wrangling that thing around the track. So it looks like JT's here. You want to kick it off with him, Ryan?
Sure. Good evening, JT.
Howdy, guys.
Well, your Ford was looking really good out there this week. How did it feel for you?
Oh, horrible. Absolutely.
We see that, we got on last night. Last night, everybody was practicing, and you were out there, and we came on and did a practice run for ourselves, and it looked like that thing was a handful in practice, and it looked like it might have been that, but you tamed it a little better tonight, and that's why we wanted to talk to you. We wanted to hear, nice solid. I think it ended up being a 10th place finish in class, but we want to hear about this car.
It's a handful at all times. It's the rear end is trying to race you more so than the other cars. So trying to keep that behind you when you're slowing down and trying to rotate the cars is a nightmare. It ended up catching me out at one point and spun off track, but I recovered.
Yeah, and it looked like last week at Spa you had some trouble early, and
Yep, same thing.
Yep, and then kind of battled back up, but I think a little bit better finish tonight, if I'm not mistaken, and you're going to gain on it, right? But what did we say, Ryan? It's got to be the most bitchin' looking car out there on the track.
Yeah, that was you, but I 100% agree.
It looks good and it sounds good, and that's it.
Yeah, and I tell you what we like about it is, we like to get in the cockpit with you, and then we like to look at all the throwback way that it looks, and it gives us an opportunity to, for us old guys to talk about Dan Gurney and Ken Miles and AJ Foyt and what racing used to be like, and that thing kind of looks the same way it did back in the 60s.
Handles just the same.
Well, one card that plays in your favor is that thing. It looks real wide in the corners, so getting past you can't be easy.
Yeah, no, it's decent under braking as long as you're in a straight line, and I can get out of the corners decently well. So there's not a lot of overtaking from other cars unless they're really risking it.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're enjoying watching it, and thanks for coming and talk to us. And JT, can't say enough how proud we are to have you as a member of CMS. You're one of our most active and dedicated members. You race in a whole lot of things. We're super proud to have you as part of the gang here, and really excited to see what you and some of the other guys are going to do here in the upcoming 24 Hours of Daytona, representing us as well. So this had to be a big confidence boost for you going into the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, definitely. It's always good when things go well, or relatively so. It's less thing that weighs on your mind when you have to go on to the next task. And so now, a lot of stuff to do between now and next week for the 24.
Yeah, well, driving this Ford GT40 will make driving that LMDH BMW feel like it's a tricycle or something.
Be on rails.
All right, well, sir, have a good night. We're going to talk to one more gentleman here before we wrap up, and that I'm going to bring in Jose Dolio, our second place overall finisher in the race, and I think had we had another lap or two, he might have ended up being up there in conversation to win this thing.
I think so. Yeah.
Yep, I've sent him the invite. We'll see if he'll join us. He might be figuring out how to accept it. So we'll give him just a second to fiddle with that, and if not, we'll get the opportunity to talk to him next time. But we talked about it, Ryan, with the BMW. That car has just kind of got a little bit of everything.
It does. It's kind of the everyman car.
It really is, and he was in practice last night. He was the fastest. He was the fastest in the race at the end of the race, and we're trying to bring him in, folks. He's got an invite to speak, but he may be having some trouble on his end, so no biggie if he can't get in here. However, he kind of backed it up, right? Looking at the leaderboard here tonight, and just looking at the times, and I believe, if I am not mistaken, he was the only driver in the field to dip down into the 29s. He ran a 29.982. In the race, and was really just had it all together. Miguel Colon just a little bit better in the end, but the margin of victory was less than a second tonight.
Yeah, they were both just impossibly quick, but I think raw pace, Jose might have had the slight edge, but of course, at the end of the day, it's whoever finishes first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I am giving him one more minute. He sent me a message. I'm saying we just sent you an invite, so let's see if he can accept that. And if he's unable to do that, Jose, are you with us? And can you hear us? I see you finally got in here into the on the stage. Jose, do you have a copy from Ryan and I here in the booth? Doesn't sound like he does, so we'll go ahead and just kind of move on here in the interest of time. So, Ryan, let's wrap it up tonight. Tell me what we've got coming next week, and what we can have everybody looking forward to.
Well, next week we are not going to have a heat race. That's one thing I know for sure. But yeah, we've got more racing coming up every week, of course. Next week we are going to be going all the way across to Twin Ring Motegi for another 60-minute race on the 18th.
That'll be fun. I don't know that I have a whole lot of familiarity with that track. I know I've run maybe a time or two there, but it'll be interesting for you and I to familiarize ourselves with it. Very technical circuit from what I remember, a lot like the Japanese circuits like Suzuka and others. So I think that's where we could kind of see maybe a little bit of separation. With a track of that nature, it kind of feels like a Formula One technical type layout.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of everything with some S's and a couple of real tight hairpins and tight corners to really test the corner entry and exit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a neat one. I haven't personally raced on it. This is gonna take me back. I want to say about 18 years ago would have been the last time I turned a lap there.
Yeah, so you and I will, and it hadn't been that long for me, but it's not a track I've had I've probably had less than 100 laps there in my driving career. So I'm gonna look forward to doing a little bit of studying and you and I learning the track together, and it'll be fun to maybe we can get back on and bring the guys a little bit of practice as we continue to practice and learn and grow, and that'll be a fun track to bring it to. So, well, I guess we'll wrap up here tonight. Ryan, thank you again. Unfortunately, we did not get a chance to talk to our second place overall finisher, Jose Dolio. He had some technical issues, but we will hopefully get to talk to him again. I have a feeling he's going to be up front all season. A couple of shout outs here before we go off the air. You heard us talk a little bit about the iRacing Team Endurance Series. That is coming up starting in March. Here at Champion Motorsports, we are getting pretty full on signups. We've got, I believe, about 5 GT3 openings left and 5 LMP2 team openings left. We have a small waiting list starting to form for the LMDH category. So for all the teams and drivers that are interested, get out there, get signed up for that. It's going to be tremendous. And then I also want to thank our partners, Darren and the team at simrace247.com. They are behind bringing this series to us. We're doing some phenomenal recaps with the hard work of Ryan and Tim Collier, and we're going to simulcast or simultaneously publish, I should say, those recaps to the simrace24.7 .com website as well as the CMS Racing website. So make sure you bookmark the guys over there. They do a lot of great things for the sim community, and we're just super happy to have them as a partner here with us. So we will get this stream converted to YouTube and for everybody to enjoy it later. And for now, we will sign off and see you hopefully next week, God willing, at Twin Ring